I'm Barry Tramel, and I'm afraid the NFL ticket scandal has to fall at the feet of Jerry Jones.
It's a bad one, and I tell you, the ripples are being felt. From the Opubco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. Press Row is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. Barry, we were at the Super Bowl on Sunday, and news started to trickle out that there was a problem with some of the temporary seats. 400 people ended up without anywhere to sit. The NFL has done some things to try to soothe that, but now there's a lawsuit. I mean, this is really going to get ugly.
Well, it's an awful situation and a terrible black eye for the NFL, which frankly avoids those things pretty well. Here's the deal. I think the NFL, and primarily Jerry Jones, fell victim to largesse. I think Jerry Jones was in love with the idea of the biggest, grandest Super Bowl ever. This is a stadium that basically seats 70-something thousand people in regular chairs, and then has all kinds of plaza room for other people for standing room only tickets during the Super Bowl. They use those areas to erect more and more seats, but they wanted the record. They wanted that record of almost 104,000 at the from Super Bowl 1980 when the Rams and the Steelers played at the Rose Bowl. Jerry wanted to beat that record. So they kept adding seats and adding seats and adding seats. The huge temporary bleachers in the end zones on the plazas, those were fine. Those were filled, no problem at all. But when they put them there on the sides in the little areas where there were a little bit of room where you could erect something, that's what got the NFL in this regard. And I think it was just too much. I think Jerry World is a fantastic stadium, but it is a monument to excess. It is a monument to a billion-dollar status stadium. And I think the NFL and Jerry Jones just got sucked into too much. They took on more than they could handle, literally couldn't get the seats attached in time. That's what got them. That's what they fell victim to.
I just don't understand, though, Barry. I'm still, being at the stadium and seeing these seats, I still don't understand how it was that they didn't get all of these areas fixed. Now, as Barry said, obviously, you know, you run out of time, you run out of people, you run out of stuff, but they knew early in the week that there was an issue. I don't get why. I mean, if I worked for the NFL, I don't care what job I held, I would be out there with a wrench or a hammer or whatever it needed to be to try to fix those seats. If you were missing materials, if you needed more people, we now know it would have been a ton cheaper to ship those people and those things from wherever. I don't care if you got to ship stuff from the other side of the world. At this point, it probably would have been cheaper than what the NFL is going to be paying out, whether it's, you know, the extra cost of these tickets, paying for folks to go to, they're now offering a ticket to any future Super Bowl, including hotel accommodations, your food, your travel. They're going to be paying for this debacle for a long time to come. I just don't understand why they don't throw the money at it initially and fix these seats, because clearly they did there were thousands of these temporary seats that were fine. Why not do whatever you had to do to make them all fine?
You know, the NFL has said that this was not weather related. I have to feel that it was, for this reason. The weather hit on Tuesday morning, bad ice storm, heavy snow later in the week. I've got and a lot of damage to the Super Bowl periphery. A lot of tents on the grounds were blown away and torn. All kinds of logistic problems with streets and roads. I think this put the NFL in a huge bind that it was not prepared for. I think the seat thing had to fall in the gaps. I think they knew it was a problem, but they had so many fires to put out that they cut it too close. They tried to fix the seats. As late as Sunday morning, they were trying to get the seats going. Didn't work out. I got to believe the weather was part of it. So it was a case of, I think, lack of attention to detail, poor planning, and Mother Nature conspiring. And in the end, I think the NFL and Jerry Jones just took on more than it could handle.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about Jerry Jones and this falling at his feet. Well, you know what? I think that the biggest fallout from this will be that Jerry Jones and his stadium will not get Super Bowl 50. In 5 years, Dallas, North Texas would like to have the Super Bowl back. It's the 50th game. It's going to be obviously a huge anniversary, a huge mark, something that they wanted to have. I think Jerry Jones and his stadium will get the Super Bowl back at some point. I just don't think it's going to be in 5 years. I think that the bruises and the marks from this Super Bowl are going to still be so fresh when the NFL has to decide where it's putting Super Bowl 50. I just have a hard time believing that they're going to be willing to say, yes, we're going back to North Texas while they're still paying out these tickets for these fans that were without seats or dealing with the fallout of the bad weather. I mean, obviously some of this stuff was something that nobody is to blame for. I mean, weather happens. What are you going to do? But still, those things are going to come into play when they talk about who gets Super Bowl 50. Super Bowl is going to go back to North Texas at some point, but Barry, I don't think there's any way it goes back in 5 years. Stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.